What is going on, guys, and welcome back to the channel. As you can see, we've got the super cheap turbo Civic right here behind me, and this thing has been absolutely neglected. So we've got a few things I want to run through and just tidy up and clean this thing up a little bit before we take it out and have some fun with it. We're not going to go crazy, but I do want to get the water meth injection dialed in a little bit more, and I also want to play around with the quick spool. So that's the plan for today. But before we get out and take this thing for a ride, I want to go through and do a couple little maintenance things. We should check the catch can and make sure this thing has oil in it and just clean it up a little bit. So let's get through the intro and jump right into today's video. Now that we've gotten through the intro, let's take a quick look at this thing just in case you guys haven't seen it before. So this is our 99 Civic. We picked this thing up for 500 bucks. We did a manual swap, got it on Honda, built the cheapest possible turbo kit that we could put together. Then we found a $150 D16 Y8 engine on Facebook Marketplace, brought that thing home, tore it down, put a Z6 crankshaft, Eagle rods, Vitara pistons, and then hand ported the Y8 head. We also decided to fill the block while we were in there, and we used a Z6 oil pump on a Y8 block. That's why it's got a D17 valve cover with the dipstick right there. While we were at it, we also put some Crowder valve springs in it with a comp cam. So this thing runs pretty good. And of course, to top it all off, we have our Max Peating Rods GT3076R dual ball bearing turbo. And this thing works really well with our comp stage 4 clutch. So like I said, just wanted to give you guys a super quick rundown. If you want to see any more on this car, it has its own playlist on the channel that you can go back and check out and see every step along the way with this thing. So what we want to do before we take this thing for a quick ride is go ahead and check this catch can. I haven't really checked it in quite a while, so I just want to see if it's got anything in it. We're also going to make sure this thing has some oil in it. It's probably getting pretty close to being due for another oil change. We did a break-in oil change or two, and then I've been driving it around a bit. So we've got all that taken care of. Our fuel system from Evil Energy is still working phenomenal, and I think we got all of our oil leaks taken care of, knock on wood. It's been pretty solid. Now, as you guys can see in the last video, we did go ahead and throw some wheels on it. Since then, we did get a flat here, and it chewed up the sidewall a little bit. So we're going to have to keep an eye on that. We have a spare in the trunk, so we should be good to go. But as you guys can see, just by looking inside this thing, it is absolutely filthy. So I'm not going to bore you guys with cleaning this thing up, but I'm going to go ahead and hit it with a vacuum real quick. Then we will check the catch can. We're going to go ahead and check the oil, and then I'm going to throw some more alcohol in our meth injection system, and we'll get this thing fired up and go take it for a ride. Not sure how well you guys can see it, but I went ahead, got the catch can open. Kind of tight to see down in there. There you go, you can see a little bit. It definitely breathed some. We've got some stuff coming out of it. Looks like a oily, watery mix. But we'll go ahead, let that drain out for a little while, and then we'll check the oil level in this thing, get it fired up and ready to go. So as you guys seen, we were just draining the catch can. Keep in mind, this has about 2,500 miles on it, somewhere between 2,000 and 2,500. So let's go ahead and pull the pan out. So as you guys can see, there's definitely some oil in there, but nothing that scares me even the slightest. I think that looks pretty decent. We do have the rings gapped on the looser side because when we built this engine, I knew we were going to be forcing a lot of boost down its throat. So really, I'm pretty happy with that. For our catch can setup, we have a 10 AN coming off of the D17 valve cover, and then a 10 AN off the back of the block. So not too bad. Now I know at least I can wait and do it in between oil changes. Just whenever we change the oil, I'll go ahead and check the can. Just wanted to check and make sure this thing wasn't like over full or anything. So let's go ahead. We've got the valve closed back up on that. I can check the fluids in the engine itself. Maybe throw some more alcohol in for the alcohol injection, and we'll be ready to go rip this thing. Looks good to me. Let's go ahead and throw some alcohol in this thing and fire it up. We're gonna go ahead and check our alcohol injection kit here. This is one of them situations, don't do what I do, but we've been doing it for a little while here and it works out pretty good. Just don't use it like we are, because God forbid you got hit right here. This stuff is super flammable. It's not mixed with water. and it's more of a point I wanted to try this and see what it did. We do have boost juice because that's what we run on my ProCharge GTO over here. We have a meth kit on there with boost juice. But on here, I wanted to make the cheapest meth kit we could possibly make, which we have a video on. And to do that, we use the cheapest fluid we could use. So I'm gonna go ahead and top this off a little bit more. And I think we are finally ready to set up some cameras, grab the laptop, and check out the tune and take this thing for a ride. All right, guys, so I went ahead and cleaned the car up a little bit, just real quick, wash the windshield for you guys so you aren't looking at a bunch of bugs. But we're gonna connect to this thing and take a look at the file that we have in it currently, and then we will go from there. I obviously have the file saved, but I always like to pull it just to be safe, make sure that I am working with the same file that we have. So it should have just downloaded it. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but we are hearing the boost control clicking, so I'm just gonna go ahead and change that quick so it's not just sitting here clicking away. So we'll go to boost control. We're gonna go to activation. Let's just go 0 and see what it does. So our boost control is at 61%. I believe last time that was giving us just about 20 pounds of boost. Perfect for what we want, for what we're gonna be doing today. We might go up a tiny bit with it. We've got our boost cut for safety here. At cold, I have it at 17. Hot boost cut, we've got it at 22. So we're gonna leave that how it is for now, unless we decide to up the boost some more, then obviously we'll have to raise that. But it looks like we have the rev limiter set at 7,600, almost 7,700. So let's go ahead, we'll get this thing fired up. I am gonna stop and just get some fuel quick. Then we will head out to our private closed course, get this thing to make some runs and see what we're working with. So sadly, guys, I am going to go ahead and cover up our speedometer. You don't need to know how fast we're going on our closed course here. So I'll go ahead and get that taken care of here in a second. I know it's a buzzkill. I hate that I have to do it, but you know, the road course doesn't want us showing our speed. So we'll go ahead and get that covered up, get this thing fired up, and go get some fuel. All right, guys, so we're just about out here, and what I'm gonna do is I've got my log set up here. We've got our display, and the way I have mine set up, you can go into the settings. I can tell you in the comments if you want to know, just ask. But I have mine set up so that you just hit the space bar, it starts recording, you hit it again, it stops. That's one log, and then you hit it again, it'll start another log. Works out really good, makes it much easier for this. But let's go ahead, get on our closed circuit course here, and we'll make a run and see what this thing does. Something, it hiccuped up top a little bit, so we'll have to take a look at that real quick. But other than that, it felt pretty strong. So I'm gonna take a look at that log, and then we will decide what we want to do for change. I think we're gonna try one more in second gear real quick and just see what it does, see if it does the same kind of cut. It didn't feel like a boost cut. I'm not exactly sure what it was, but it didn't feel super happy. So we're gonna go ahead and try it again in second gear and see if that's a little bit better. Go into third when second started spinning either, so this transmission's definitely tired and on its way out. I'll have to take a look at that, but I'm gonna look at the log, see if we can't figure out what that cut in third is. It very well could be a boost cut because I'm putting more load on it in third. It might be trying to make more boost, so we'll take a look at that real quick and we will go from there. All right, so we can take a look at this log and we'll zoom in right where we floored it, hold right click, zoom way in. I know it's probably hard for you guys to see the log here, but we've got some good useful pieces of information from taking a look at this log. Number one is we definitely hit our boost cut on those pulls. So I went ahead and pulled a 1% duty cycle out of our boost controller, which isn't much, but I also decided to go ahead and bump up the boost cut to 24 pounds of boost. So we bumped that up by 2 pounds, lowered our duty cycle by 1%. So we should be good to go there and ready to try that. Now, the bigger issue that I see here is with our injectors. These are $50 eBay injectors that I got on Facebook Marketplace used. They're 550cc. And what I'm seeing here is that the AFR is pretty much on point. But then once we get up into the higher RPMs and higher boost levels, like over 15 pounds, these things just start to max out. We're at 100% duty cycle and our milliseconds are through the roof. So what I decided to do here, since this thing looked really fat anyways, is I wanted to try to just pull out a whole bunch of fuel, hopefully get some of our duty cycle back and give us a little bit of room to work. So let's go ahead and give it a try with a whole bunch of fuel pulled out of it and the boost cut turned up just a little bit. Which is good. So we'll have to take a look at that log next and see what it says, and we'll go from there with it. But all in all, that one felt much better. Our AFRs were closer. It still looks like we need to take some fuel out, but it definitely seemed closer than it was. So taking a look at this set of logs here, we've got a couple weird things that I'm noticing here. So AFR did look better. It was definitely still fat, but much better than it was. But I think that's more related to the car only made 15 to 16 pounds of boost this time. Not 100% sure why. The only thing we changed was upping our boost cut to 24 pounds and lowering the boost control duty cycle by 1%, which shouldn't have made that big of a difference. So not really sure why we lost a whole bunch of boost, but our AFR was much closer. So I think that's more related to the lower boost number though. We didn't quite max out the injectors, so they were still responding decently. So what we're going to do next is I'm going to give it the boost back. We're just going to go back to where we were, continuing to pull fuel out up top and see if we can get this thing a little bit closer and see if we can get our boost back. I'm not sure why though, but it definitely felt a lot crisper than our other ones. AFR was closer, not perfect, but closer. If I haven't said it already, I am by no means a tuner. This is just how I'm going about it, trying to learn as I go. So take whatever you see with a grain of salt, just like I always say in my tuning videos. But we'll go ahead and take a look at that log and see if we can't change anything there. So looking at the log from the last run, I'm not exactly sure what's going on with this thing. It still only made 16 pounds of boost. We had the duty cycle up that extra 1% to get it back to 61%, where it just made 21, 22 pounds. So I wasn't exactly sure what was happening here, but our AFR is much closer. But once again, I think it's because we're at a lower boost level, so the injectors aren't maxing out and they're actually able to keep up. So what I did next is I went ahead and bumped up the quick spool to 17 psi, and we went ahead and added a few percent to our boost controller duty cycle. I think we brought it up to 63%, and we're gonna go make another run and see what it does. We might hit our 24-pound boost cut. I'm just trying to see what's going on. Maybe the tune just didn't take, but I went to 63% duty cycle. We might run right into boost cut, and if we do, I'll just lower it real quick and we'll try it again, same setup. But if it wasn't the tune, there's something else going on, because it didn't want to make more than 17 pounds, whereas right before that 1% more duty cycle, it was making 22 pounds. So a little bit strange, but we'll give it a shot and see what happens here. Like on point, and then all of a sudden the bottom falls out and it just goes rich again. Even though I've been taking more and more fuel away, the thing still gets rich. So looking at this next log here, we did get our boost back, so we're at about 20 to 20.5 pounds of boost, so that's a good sign. But we went right back to this thing getting extremely rich on the top end. So like I said before, our injector duty cycle and our milliseconds are just maxing out right around that 20 pounds of boost. Now I'm not sure if that's normal for 550cc injectors or if it's just because these ones are as cheap as they are, but everything seems to be working really good up to there, and then the bottom just falls out. So we're going to try to take some more fuel out of it and just see if we can't milk this thing for a little bit more duty cycle, and we'll just go from there. We can go ahead and mess around with the boost control again. I'm going to leave the duty cycle right where it's at, 63%, but I am going to come down to quick spool once again, and we're going to go ahead and up that to 18 psi, and we'll see if that puts us into an overboost condition or not. It's about to start downpouring on us any second, so I don't know if I'm going to do another one or if we're going to have to just go back, look at this data, and see if we can't figure something out. So by 5,500 we were at 20 pounds, which is what we want. It's good, it's just I don't understand what was going on before. I'm not going to complain though, it seems like it's back. This fly is definitely back and it's driving me nuts, but see if we can't get rid of them here. But let's go ahead and see what our AFRs look like again. They are still going really fat. So like I've been saying, guys, I really think it's just the injectors maxing out, because I've got this thing looking pretty decent as far as the fuel map goes, all the way up until about that 20 psi mark. Once we get up around there, the injector duty cycle just pegs out at 100 and our milliseconds go crazy. Like I said before, I don't have any of the injector data for these things. I don't even know if they ever came with it, since they're just some super cheap eBay injectors. So I definitely think that that's a big part of our problem. Now, if you guys think it's something else, make sure to let me know down in the comments below. Be more than happy to check out any other theories you guys might have. Now, quick shout out to our super cheap eBay intercooler. This thing has been doing absolutely phenomenal. We've been doing back-to-back, pretty decently high boost pulls, and this thing is just steadily held 90 degrees or less, even back-to-back runs. So super happy with how that thing's working out. But let's take a bunch more fuel out and see if these things respond. As you guys can see, this thing is absolutely flying, so I'm super happy with it. We definitely have some more fine tuning to do. We need to track down some injectors, because I think right now that's our biggest issue. I think that these cheap eBay 550cc injectors are just absolutely killing us right now. So I'm gonna try to find us some better ones, hopefully some thousands, hopefully have a little bit of room for E85. But for now, let's cruise this thing around a little bit. We'll head back, take a final look at the data logs, and we'll go from there. Brake boosted it pretty good there to see what it would do, and it liked it. So it definitely liked when I brake boosted. It gets it to boost way faster. So as you guys seen, we took this thing out and we were having a blast with it. This thing is absolutely flying. On 22 pounds, this thing is a rocket. Now obviously we ran into some issues today. I'm not sure what the whole boost issue was, why we lost boost and then it came back when we gave it some more duty cycle after it had been maintaining that boost level for quite some time on that duty cycle. So that was a little strange, but our bigger issue is the fuel injectors. We're definitely gonna have to figure something out there. Now I could be wrong, I am by no means a tuner, but I definitely think that our issue is injector related, because it's perfectly fine. I can get everything dialed in until we get up to that about 22 pounds of boost range, and then we just max out the injectors at 100% duty cycle, and we are also, our milliseconds is going absolutely crazy. Now I've never had any data sheet for these injectors, so that could be a big part of it, but they're also 550cc, so we could be very well close to just maxing these things out in general, even if we had perfect injector data. So we're going to be trying to track down a decent set of 1000cc injectors, because I'd love the opportunity to be able to put this thing on E85 if we so choose, preferably a flex fuel setup. So we'll have to see what we can track down and what we can do in the future. But as always, I appreciate you guys for checking out the channel. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that bell, and check us out on all of our other social media platforms: Facebook, TikTok, and Bought to Build Official on Instagram. And we will catch you on the next one.